Welcome back. President-elect Trump said this morning reports about his relationship with Russia is fake news. In fact, he tweeted this morning that he has nothing to do with Russia. New intelligence shows that Russia influenced the November 8th elections that won President-elect Trump the presidency. The intelligence community made the 25-page report public, stating, "We further assess Putin and the Russian government and developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump." All right, we're back with JC. You know, we thought we were going to let you go, but we had to keep you on here for this subject. We were talking about it during the break. And if they have found more news and more evidence that Trump was involved with this conspiracy with Russia, what do you think that means for him?
Well, first of all, the first part of your intro, I think is misleading.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the intelligence that was gathered shows that Russia played a role in hacking the emails of Podesta and some members of the DNC in an effort to make Secretary Clinton look bad, and that's how they were hoping to influence the election. But there is no, and this is fact, there is no connection that because of those leaked emails from John Podesta and some members of the DNC, that is why Donald Trump won the vote. And in a conspiracy.
After that news was brought out, that's when we saw that Hillary Clinton's numbers actually started to decrease.
No, the numbers started to decrease for Hillary Clinton. By the way, the numbers never really did decrease. This was a shocker to me and to you and to most of us. The numbers even on election day showed that she was going to win handedly. Even Nate Silver showed that it was an 85% chance of her winning. So the numbers really didn't go down. And any time that they took a hit was with the FBI announcement about the new emails that they had found on the server that belonged to her assistant and her husband, former Congressman, what's his name?
Weiner?
Weiner,
yes.
Congressman Weiner. I didn't want to say it in public. I'll let you say it. So what we saw there, that's when the numbers started hitting, but the connection that he won the election because of John Podesta's emails, that's not exact. No, that's not what the report said. The report does say that Putin's government was involved in hacking the emails. I mean, and that is why Senator John McCain and Senator Lindsey Graham are pushing for hearings so that we can make sure that Russia and other countries never think about getting involved in our elections ever again. I think that's the right approach. And I think that's the approach that the new administration should have, which is let's figure out what was done and make sure that no other country ever does this again. Because you know what? It could be us next time. The Republicans could pay the price. Let's say that Iran goes into our emails and starts trying to influence an election so that a Democrat wins. We don't want anyone to do it. And what you hear from Senator McCain and Senator Graham is this idea that if we were to increase the penalties on anyone that tried to do such a thing, that the penalties or the cost of doing this would outweigh the benefit of hacking.
Do you believe Trump when he says that he had nothing to do with this, or do you think that he had some involvement?
I don't know. I hope not. I don't know. There hasn't been any affirmed proof or any report from the intelligence agencies or the FBI saying that he was. As a matter of fact, just this morning, there was discussion from U.S. officials that he was not. Now, I'm not a Trump defender. I'm just being honest and objective about what I'm reading and what I see and what I know and what we know. There is no concrete connection between the Russian government, some conspiracy that involved Donald Trump or any of his associates with trying to influence the election. Not yet. If there is, trust me, I'll be here and I'll be pounding my chest because I was never Trump. But let's see what happens. But I don't think that's the case right now.
I mean, this is a big allegation going against him, especially when his inauguration is coming up in a few days. Right. Do you think that this maybe decreases the trust value of Trump for the American people?
I think a lot of us never did. I mean, a lot of Americans didn't like him, don't trust him, don't have a good view or positive view of the president-elect. It's his job to win all of those Americans over. Obviously, any news like this is going to hurt someone's view of the subject of such a story. When you look at President-elect Trump, you are looking at someone who, during his campaign, often cited fake news. I mean, so it's very interesting to sit here and watch what's happening. Here I'm remembering Ted Cruz and Ted Cruz's father being associated with Cubans that may have participated in the assassination of President Kennedy, and that coming out during the primaries, that was fake news by the National Enquirer. I said it was fake news. Everybody said it was fake news, but Donald Trump, then candidate, was pushing it in national cable media. And then you sit down and look at some other things as far as other either retweets or other fables that he gave us, or other falsities and other fake news that he participated in. And it's almost like perhaps an epiphany of how dangerous participating in this fake news can be. When you do it often and then you're the subject of some really bad one, hopefully now he realizes how terrible this is. I hope it's all fake. I think it's all fake. I mean, if it were true, we would have heard about it long ago, honestly. But, hopefully he'll realize how dangerous this game is when you start, spreading some news that is false, done for the whole purpose of hurting someone's reputation.
What do you say about our president-elect and how involved he is with the fake news on Twitter? He's constantly on Twitter. Do you think that's going to decrease once he goes into office?
I think that retweeting fake news is. I don't think his use of Twitter is. I think Twitter is how he communicates directly to the American people, and it's effective. I mean, the president-elect can sit down on his computer and write, "Oh, damn," with an exclamation mark, and it'll make the news, and we'll talk about it. Everyone will talk. The whole world will talk about it. So he figured it out. I think he's going to continue using Twitter. Sure, he's going to have his special moments where he speaks to the nation on TV. But for the most part, I think you got to get used to Twitter presidency.
I think that's something I would have never thought I would hear.
I never thought
a Twitter
so.
presidency.
I never thought so either. You know what? But it's a new way of communicating, and I think that us in politics and in journalism have to now reevaluate the things that we were taught and how we know to communicate, and now start looking at Facebook Live, start looking at Twitter, the video feeds, Instagram, as the new real media as to how we're going to be able to communicate.
Well, one of his tweets that made highlights this past week, was his tweet against Meryl Streep when she made her speech at the Golden Globes. Not only are people taking social media to express their opinions, but they're also taking stages such as these award shows to make their point, to bring their points across. And obviously, she didn't mention his name, but everyone knew who she was talking about in her speech.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I think that actors have a platform. I think artists that are well known have platforms, and that's always been the case. I think that we saw that throughout our American history, where we have singers and actors and poets and painters. They all have a political point of view, and if they have a following, they're going to make it known. And Meryl Streep is no different from so many in Hollywood that don't approve of Donald Trump. So many artists that aren't participating in any way in the inauguration. So I mean, a lot of people agree with her position and what she said. But there was another side to this, and I think we saw a lot of it on Twitter when Donald Trump defends himself on Twitter, and people that are objective and people that want to say, wait a minute, Meryl Streep, you attacked the president for what he said about disabled people, but here you are giving a standing ovation to Roman Polanski, a convicted child rapist who's on the run in France and who received an Oscar. So you are going to applaud and say how wonderful one person is, and he's a convicted child rapist, and you're going to come and badmouth the president-elect on national TV? Something to think about as far as how do we judge and how do we judge character. And I think it gave people a lot of time, especially those non-artists, to start questioning, why aren't people more fair with their criticism? And I think we saw that exciting debate as well. So every time you have an artist come out and take a political position, there are going to be millions of other people going against them. And it's good to see people have these discussions and start thinking about politics. So anytime we think about politics, it's a good thing.
Excellent. Thank you, JC.
Thank you.
Now we will let you go.
Okay.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more open after these messages.